Hey guys, COVID cabal. COVID cabal. Not the not the happiest COVID cabal, but COVID cabal. We're still here. We're still alive. Guys, I picked the shittiest wine for a shitty day. I picked the shittiest wine in the entire repertoire. Okay, this is the shittiest one I had lined up, so I figured let's get out of the way. Let's do it. You know what? I was actually thinking about doing barefoot, but I didn't have barefoot. I was thinking about doing that just to really, have fun with this. This is a Pinot Grigio from Venice, which means that it's literally just grown on a flat plane. It had a plastic cork. Probably tastes like shit. So let's drink it. No Boone's Farm. How are we feeling, guys? How are we feeling today? How are we feeling? Morale check. What's the morale like? Mm-hmm. Could be better. Pretty calm, yeah, pretty calm. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. Today did not feel dark, surprisingly. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah. All right, guys. First, I have to get some stuff out of the way. All right, I have to get some stuff out of the way. Okay. Um, I for some of you guys, I know this is important, but I want to say it anyway, just for everybody. I am sorry if you feel over the last 10 months, if you feel misled. It's on my Coke. What's going on here? Is this better? Is that better? Is that better with the mic? Guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you guys, we've been fighting for a very long time. Been fighting for a long time. And I know that today's hard. Today's a hard day. It's it's like you had the election, then you had the 14th, and then you had the 6th, and now we're at the 20th, right? And we have, at least as it seems, and I think we have to get past the sort of, well, as it seems stuff. I mean, we have a new president sworn into the country, right? We have a new president sworn into the country. So I just want to say I'm sorry because I know this has been rough, and I know that on this journey, I've obviously taken quite a few slings and arrows, and I think we all have, right? We've all suffered quite a bit from this stuff. We suffered, we've lost friends and family. Um, we've lost our reputations in some sense. A lot of people don't understand, and in many ways, we've been isolated as a result of that. And so, I wanna just start off and say that I'm happy. I'm fine. I'm fine. But I know that for everybody here, uh, you guys made a choice to follow me and follow this movement, but I just want to know that I'm with you, and I apologize if this is hard for any of you. Um, so look, let's talk about some of this stuff. Let's get into it. The information we've been getting, we have to do this. Okay, we have to accept some stuff here. First off, I want to say, all right, I'm trying to think about how I want to start this stuff. I don't feel any different about the outcome. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that there's some lurkers here who are going to come in and they're going to see this stuff and they're going to be like, this guy's lost his fucking mind. He's lost his fucking mind. How is it possible that he's still on board? I can't tell you, guys. I can't tell you. Uh, I feel it in my heart, and I felt it for the last week, and it's only been growing. And even though when I looked very briefly at the inauguration and saw all the scum on stage and was nauseated looking at them, I noticed two things. The first was that they almost seemed surprised themselves to be there. They actually seemed a little surprised themselves to be there. It was sort of a strange celebration, um, almost a cautious celebration. Like, did we really get away with it? Did we really get away with it? But I don't feel at all like they have power. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is, unless I were to just simply accept the fact that the 5D reality is what it is, and that the timeline, the ultimate outcome of the timeline has not changed. It has not changed. I do not feel like we consented to this. I don't feel like we consented to this. In every other single situation throughout history where things have gotten really bad, the people consented to that experience. They consented on a level. The level of their consciousness consented to go through a malaise. But we didn't consent to this. And as I was looking at it, I just was saying to myself, like, I did not come here to agree to this. I did not agree with this. We did not agree to this. So what is this? What is this thing that's going on? It doesn't feel real. And I'm very aware that, the stages of denial, I'm very aware, but this is not like a sense of my mind isn't racing. I'm not feeling neurotic. I'm not even feeling like depressed. There is a sense for me of why. I do ask myself this, especially when it comes to the plan, and this is what I want to say about all the plan stuff, and this is what I want to say about Q and about all these things. Okay, first off, Q is always just one of the many resources we used. Okay, Q is one of the many resources we used, and I don't know whether it's true or not. I don't know whether it was a psyop. I don't know whether, I know it was a psyop. I don't know whether it was a bullshit psyop to fuck us up. I don't know whether it was that or not. I can tell you that if it is that way, you have to conclude that Trump betrayed us. In your heart, do you believe that Trump betrayed you? Some people are saying that. I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Although, when you look at things on a third dimensional, fourth dimensional level, there are many things you have to ask yourself, but I don't feel it. I feel like there's something else. I feel like there are things that were happening. We all saw it happening. And either it was an incredibly elaborate psyop to trick us into it, or there's more going on and things are being pushed behind the scenes. And, look, maybe it's 10 days of darkness and that's 10 days of a Biden presidency. Maybe that's what it is. The dark winter, whatever. The subsequent 10 days have some very interesting numerological significance. The last day of the 10 days is when Mercury goes retrograde, which is always a period of absolute confusion for everybody. But I don't give a fuck about that stuff anymore. And this is what I really want to get to, is that we need to detach from information. We need to detach from information, guys. I don't give a fuck what Simon Park says. I don't give a fuck what Charlie Ward says. I don't give a fuck what Q says. We are past the point of information being valuable. And while we always were skeptical, while we always were, understanding that anything that we received was, we always thought that anything we receive could be and probably was laden with misinformation. Now we're at the point where it's like, and look, I don't actually get the sense that Simon or Charlie did anything deliberately to harm us. I don't get the sense that they did anything to harm us whatsoever. But they were obviously misled themselves. And, this person who calls up Simon to tell him things was telling him things that he knew he's using Simon as a patsy, to my perspective. Because Simon is very, he said himself he doesn't do research. So maybe he's just somebody who they can tell and he'll report it and he's very measured. I don't give a fuck though. This is the point. Whenever I see this information now, It's like, who cares? I know one of you guys, and I know you mean it in good faith. It's fine. Oh, these two Q posts say in the event of a Biden presidency, who cares? Who cares? I mean, I think that we have to get to the point where we are not trusting because this is my thing. God's plan, fine. Where's God going to take this? How is this going to be resolved? That is beyond our comprehension, and I feel its resolution. I feel it. I feel the momentum moving towards it. I feel the momentum moving towards it. I feel the collective unconsciousness, the collective unconscious of this country and even the planet is saying no. It's saying no to this. It does not want it. It won't accept it. They can't keep hijacking it. There is now a population that's completely done with this. It's completely done with this. And so I know they're finished in some way or form. They can't implement what they want to implement. But if this plan's purpose is that, well, we have to have some stuff happen over Biden to wake more sheep up. Well, if that's what God wants, then that's what God wants. And who am I to question it? But I will tell you guys that I think it's a bullshit. I think it's bullshit. And these white hat operators, if they exist, and if their intent here is, well, we got to wait longer because then we can do this, then they can really fuck themselves. Because, if any of you are really feeling down, reach out to me. But there are people who are going to kill themselves tonight. There are people who are going to kill themselves tonight because of this fucking plan. And I'm sorry if they want to make it less messy, but I don't personally think it's good leadership. I'm not saying for myself, but it's not 4 years. That's the thing. That's the thing I wish people understood. It's the thing I wish people understood is that this is a communist takeover of the United States. It's a communist takeover of the United States, which is why I'm not going to apologize for anything I've done the last 10 months. Why would I apologize for it? Nobody was going to do anything anyway. No one was going to do anything, right? Don't be a drama queen. It's fucking idiots, man. It's fucking idiots. You steal 2 elections. You steal the entire government. It's done. It would be done. And so we are at the point now where all you can do is be with God and believe this and believe that it's going to end. That's all you can do. And of course, prepare personally, prepare for your family. It's time for us to set aside any sort of, I stand by the fact that nobody was going to do anything. Everybody who wanted action was waiting for Trump to take action. So if you wanted to take action and you're saying, well, Q people were complacent, Q woke up more people, all this stuff woke up more people, right? It all woke up more people. There are so many of us who are awake because of the information campaign and spreading this stuff, okay? We have experienced the Great Awakening. But yeah, they were more involved. There's no doubt they were more involved. So I know this stuff people saying like, oh, you fell for a side. Well, it doesn't matter. Even if we did fall for a side, it doesn't matter. We did more good than harm. And everybody else wasn't going to do anything until Trump, because they were waiting for Trump to do things. And if Trump didn't do things, well, that's what happened, right? Now we're on our own, so to speak. It's us. It's the spirit of this country. And it's God. And yeah, I mean, I think something did happen after January 6th. I think that there was a massive hijacking and maybe they shifted the timeline. Reality is that, Magenta and people, the psychics still say that everything is on course. The psychics and everything say that things are still on course, that it's going to implode on them. And I feel that. I don't think that, but well, look, they're releasing the Maxwell documents, right? They're releasing the Maxwell documents, and cool. I'm glad they're doing that. But look, I'm not trying to be negative with this. I just want to be realistic here, and this is why there's my skepticism about some aspects of this plan. You are not going to wake up people unless you take down the media. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that this Maxwell stuff is being released. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they'll be redacted. The media is not going to report on it. So the same people, us, will see it, and we'll feel more and more like we're being controlled by fucking pedophiles. So this whole thing, like, well, we need to wait for more people. We need to wait for. No, it doesn't matter. We don't need to wait any longer. The people are not going to wake up. They're not going to wake up until the media is taken down. There's not a chance. So maybe there's all these things put in place. DNI report. All this shit's gonna, whatever, it's gonna happen, and stuff's gonna drop. And I don't personally understand the reason to wait. I see a lot of people who put a lot on the line, and if I was in control of this operation, I would say too bad, too bad, too bad. It's time for a little reciprocity with the loyalty here. And if it's gonna be messy, it's gonna be messy. The country would have gotten through it. The country would have gotten through it if they put out the evidence. So, guys, it's beyond my comprehension at this point. We're either duped and we're going to be going through the tribulation, but I don't feel that. I do feel like it's gonna end well, and maybe with time we will see why it was this way. Maybe with time we'll see. Maybe we give it 10 days, but guys, at this point, for your own sanity, okay, please, I love you guys. Please, for your own sanity, detach from all dates, detach from all plans, detach from all information. This person said this person said that. You have to detach from it. It's too much. I mean, these Q people going around saying Biden's actually a sleeper, it's Sleepy Joe, and Biden's a sleeper, and he's gonna. You got, like, seriously, at some point you have to stop with this stuff. You just have to stop with it at some point. It's one thing to believe in the end. I began to detach last week as well. Thank God. It's one thing to believe in the ultimate outcome, but the lesson here, guys, we have been moving away from the lower densities, and we moved away from being spoon-fed stuff, and then we moved into seeking our own information. We moved into 4D, and now we need to move out of 4D. We need to simply know. We need to simply know. We need to know what the outcome is. We need to feel it in our heart, and we need to manifest it from that. But all this information out there now is here just it's here just to, it's here just to fuck with us. That's all it is at this point. It's here to fuck with us. You have to detach from all of these sources, guys. We humored it. I agree we need action, but here's my take on the action. The action is going to come in response to something very clear. Okay? They are going to keep pushing. I mean, some people are of the opinion that they're going to release all the restrictions, and I think that that's up for debate, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that they were maybe trying to send that at first. Their plan is to try to lock down the population permanently. That's their plan. So them giving that up at this opportunity seems to me unlikely. It seems to me unlikely that they're going to do that. Maybe there'll be a brief lull, and then there might be a brief lull, and then they'll do it again. I mean, they're not going to stop until they take away everything. And so we are going to. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I understand your position. I totally respect it, Romeo. I totally respect it when that they're just going to reopen everything. That is what they've done in the past, and they could very well do it again. And in which case, nobody's going to wake up, and we are going to be in our own little corner, right? Watching these people continue to consolidate power. All I can hope for is their hubris. That's all I can hope for is their hubris. And I feel like they've gotten away with so much that they might push the advantage further. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. The bottom line is that um, we are going to know when it's time for action. We're going to know when it's time for action. And when that happens, I mean, this is the thing about the January 6th hijacking is they hijacked a lot of the energy from the movement. They hijacked a lot of the energy from the movement. That's what they did. I mean, you guys know I was up there in the Capitol. They hijacked all of that. They inverted it, and they made people ashamed to fight. So, how is that going to work out in the coming period? They're going to overstep, and I think that energy is going to return. It's going to return. But the reality is that whatever happens, whatever the story is with Trump, um, I know a lot of people feel really betrayed by him, and I don't blame them for that. It certainly looks in a lot of ways like he went out with a whimper. Didn't pardon the people, didn't declassify really a lot. Um, he could have waged scorched earth on them, and he didn't do it. And so it's reasonable to ask yourself, did he? It's reasonable to consider, did he make a deal? Although I don't think there's any making a deal with these people. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? If that's the way it is, guys, then we're in the tribulation. If that's the way it is, we're in the tribulation. It doesn't match his personality, it doesn't match his character, it doesn't match anything he's done to date. But so we're gonna have to see, guys. We're gonna have to be patient. But it's going to play out as it plays out. They're going to make a move. If it is up to the people, it's up to the people. They're going to make a move, and someone's going to snap, and then they're going to try to make a move against that, and then more people are going to push back. I do not believe for a second that they're going to be able to implement full-blown communism in this country. But the reality at this point is there's too many people awake. If Trump, this is the thing, guys, there's no going back to the prior system. There's no going back to the prior system. There's no going back to, okay, well, Trump's going to start a media company. Trump's going to start, he's going to run for office again. No one's going to buy that shit. No one's going to buy that shit. I mean, look at Italy right now, though. Restaurants are opening against the ban. I just have hope. I hold hope. I hold faith. I see this system collapsing. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I see it collapsing. There's not enough critical mass. There's not enough critical mass. But look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we go that way. Maybe they take away everything, and people just say, okay, whatever. Everything's completely done. People just start to give up. We're going to know, guys. We're going to know. We're going to know when that point hits. If it gets very bad, maybe we do a hunger strike. Maybe we go maybe we go to DC and we do a hunger strike there. And what do they do? They arrest us, people just won't eat. And they'll do it publicly. Right? There are all sorts of things that we can do, and we're going to keep the channel open. But I know we love these periscopes and stuff, but the reality is that, I mean, I think we can keep them going maybe like once a week or something. We'll see. We'll see how things develop. But the system's going to destruct as it's going to destruct. I'm not losing faith at all. I'm not losing faith at all in the outcome. I'm just saying that I simply don't know the process anymore. Because whatever plan this is, if there is a plan, maybe there is no plan, but it's going to implode on its own because that's where the energy is. And that's just simply the way it is. But I mean, these people are criminals. I mean, they are literally the scum of the earth, and we know they're the scum of the earth. And I'm just telling you guys, I am not consenting to it. I'm not consenting to it. I mean, that's the thing. Like we all saw this stuff. We all saw the kind of things that they did to children. We've seen pictures. It's not like we imagined this stuff. Maybe we imagined that people were going to stop it, but we didn't imagine the stuff. We saw it. We have their emails. So, I mean, how are we supposed to how are we supposed to, like, the system has no legitimacy. These people have no legitimacy, and half the country, more than half the country, I think by the end, we can certainly say a third of the country is not going to participate. A third of the country is not going to participate. And then gradually that'll spread. I mean, they're just not going to be able to sustain it. And they can keep banning people, but eventually people are going to chimp. I mean, there are a lot of very armed people in this country, and I'm not suggesting any violence. I'm just simply being realistic about this. There are a lot of very armed people in this country, and they're just tired of it. They know. There's so many people who know. They are so tired of it. They're so tired of having an election stolen and having these criminals above them, laughing at them, subverting them. It's not going to last. I don't know how it's going to happen, but guys, take it to the higher powers at this point. You know, we can lean on each other. We can be there for each other, but it's going to fall apart. But how it falls apart, whether it's beyond Trump, whatever, you know, Magenta still says that Trump's going to be there. Who knows? Who knows exactly what happens with this? But you know, I know there are a lot of things about this that don't make sense. There's a lot of things about it that don't make sense. And I think just like the rest of you, we are waiting. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. And if we have to respond, we'll respond. We'll know when to respond. But if it's a movie, guys, if it's a movie, it's a shitty movie. If it's a movie, it's a shitty movie. But look, you know, maybe they do a false flag and then they use that to try to confiscate all sorts of shit from people. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, you know? All that stuff's possible. Just turn this around. Get some more light on me. It's a movie with pot stress. I don't know. I'm tired of this movie, guys. Just telling you, I'm tired of the movie. I'm not you know? I'm confident in the outcome. I'm just saying that it's a poorly written movie at this point. Yeah, a movie that lasts too long then ends kind of black. It's But look, you guys have any questions to me for me? You know, this Pinot Grigio is pretty easy drinking. I'm not actually that upset with it. The true free states will continue to be free and will rebel and ignore Biden Harris. Hey, maybe they will. But the reality is that if Biden and Harris truly have control over the government, they truly have control over the government, the military and everything, then that's not going to last very long. They've already outlined their plans to basically replace the entire circuit courts of the country. So they're basically going to get rid of all of these judges. I mean, all the judges are going to be removed that Trump put in, who were ostensibly good. I mean, what good did it really do in the end? So they've been taken away, right? So they're going to get rid of that. I mean, the only thing that's going to break it, unless the military is doing some sort of crazy, you know, deep plan, the only thing that's going to break it is the people. The people's the only thing that's going to break it. And I'm not endorsing violence. I'm just saying that that's likely to happen. Hopefully also nonviolence, just lack of participation. But I mean, that's how it's going to have to happen. And maybe that's important for the growth of humanity, for people to stop relying on others to do things for them, even the military, right? The thing is, like, Patriot Party is all well and good, but it's all bullshit unless the system's clean. They'll steal every single election. They stole. I mean, look, people talk about. People talk about. Some people are saying Trump got 80% of the vote. I don't believe that for a second. And I know that what they're trying to also say, oh well, it was day of votes, but okay, blah blah blah. It's all technicality stuff. But it is true that Trump got 60% of the vote in the country. I think for sure he got 60% of the vote, which is an enormous landslide in a presidential election. So if you can steal an election where you get 60% of the vote, maybe 65%, you can steal that election. Then what are you gonna? I mean, like, talk about getting into reality here. If we're talking about getting into reality, we have to get into the reality, which is that we are never going to have a fair election in this country again. So the Patriot Party is irrelevant. The Patriot Party is something that you can develop after the system has been destroyed. But so long as, I mean, they're going to label the Patriot Party a terrorist organization. I still feel like there's more here. I still feel like something's going to happen, guys. I do. I feel like something's going to happen. I always said that the spring was when I felt the shift to occur. We're in winter. It's getting cold. Yeah, let's give it some days, right? I mean, look, there's no point in being in doom posting. The reality here is that we just don't consent to it, and we're going to be fine. Or if we're not fine, I mean, physically, we're fine spiritually. Like, I'm not, in my soul, in my heart of hearts, I fear nothing. I fear nothing with this. And I do not feel any sovereignty of them over me. Now, maybe the FBI comes to my door and they throw me on the ground. They put their foot on my face. But I don't have any fear of these people. I don't consent to it. None of us consent to it. Yeah, I said he would not step foot in terms of that event, yeah. But in terms of everything resolving and being done by the end, I've always said around spring, I said around the equinox, Easter. But I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you can be pissed off if you want to be pissed off at me. I said if he steps foot in the White House, then I'm done with all the information stuff. That's what I said, and that's what this entire Periscope's been about, is me saying that. Then I'm done trusting the plan. And I'm not trusting the plan. I'm not trusting any of that stuff. Right? So what I am trusting is I'm trusting the energy, and the energy remains the same. If we were really undergoing a communist takeover of the country, I would think that I would feel a lot worse. I would think that I would feel a lot worse about this. I would think that I would feel. I mean, that's the whole stuff. It's all in our face. Tom Hanks, J-Lo, Lady Gaga. I mean, they invited the worst of the worst there. But I mean, the other point is that, as far as we've been led to believe, I mean, these people should have been arrested, or maybe they were offed. I mean, so what's going on here exactly? I don't know. People have to ask, like, oh, well, they got sworn in early. I don't know if that really makes a difference. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. I think they can swear them in early, and then it takes effect a couple minutes later. I'm not reading into these little things anymore. I'm not doing it. I already humored it too much, to be honest. Because now we're at the point where we have a different president sworn in and is now in the White House. And so we want to talk about stuff like, well, this is happening behind the scenes. Maybe it's happening behind the scenes, but we can't act like this anymore, guys. We can't act like this anymore. We were already stretching credulity when we did it before. I'm not talking about the energy. I'm not talking, the timeline is God's timeline. And, all this stuff, it's like, that's a totally separate issue. But if we're talking about, like, plan says this is going to happen next, that's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And I'm not saying that to demoralize you. I'm just saying that we can't be grounded in it anymore because we've been misled so much with it. We can't speculate it anymore. We can't speculate with that anymore. Simon Park's getting a phone call from a couple people telling him all this stuff, telling Charlie Ward the same stuff. None of it happens. None of it happens. Okay? And it was reasonable to wait all the way down to the inauguration. It was completely reasonable for us to wait till today for this stuff to happen. And then it didn't happen. So now we're at, Parks was duped. And you know what? I had my first sense of it when he said that he had been told that he, Charlie Ward, Robert David Steele, and some other person were going to be heading some sort of commission. And when I heard that, I was like, that's a little too much to the ego, right? Oh, you've been chosen, Simon, to run this commission. You, Simon, we've selected you. That was a little too much on the nose for me. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people think I ruined my credibility. And I'm happy to take, I take responsibility for that. Look, I put myself out there. And, that's what you get. That's what you get when you put yourself out there, and that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, when you say talk to Q, you got a red flag too. Yeah, I agree. Maybe that was Austin Steinbart. But look, I want us to be grounded in the higher stuff here, because that's all we can do. We got to stick together. We got to keep the energy together. And I do think that this is going to collapse, but it's not on our timetable, guys. It's not on our timetable. It's not our schedule. It's not our schedule. Trump's family started crying when he mentioned Space Force in a speech. I wonder why that is. Guys, it feels like the moment we've been forsaken is what it feels like. It feels like we've been forsaken. But look, there's nothing else that we can do. And there's nothing else that we could do. That's the thing. I really want you guys, because I feel like there's this tendency we got to make humble pie, as they say. You feel humiliated. I personally am not changing my stance towards the other people, because I want to emphasize, guys, we were not wrong about who these people are. We're not wrong about who these people are. And so there's nothing to apologize for. And personally, I am opting out of it. You understand? I'm opting out of it. I'm not participating in this. I refuse to participate in the bullshit. I refuse to, and honestly, we're getting out. Poland's not safe. Don't believe any sort of shit. It's what happens here is going to spread everywhere. But we have our apartment in Poland, and I think it's time to start to move to get things really going. So taking money and just making, no longer putting the brakes on it, right? Let me see here. What are some things? Do you think white hats could instill false hope to improve timelines? I don't. Maybe, but then the thing is, if it gets hijacked, and it got hijacked. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. When you provide false hope, and then that hope is taken away, and it happens over and over again, you have not improved the timeline. What you've done is you break people from that. You break people from that stuff. I mean, it's much worse to, like, there's a great quote one of you guys sent me from, I always forget his name. What is it? I could actually guess who it was in the chat, but I couldn't remember his name. One of you guys maybe will get it. He was what's his name? He was Frankl, Viktor Frankl. Okay, he was in a concentration camp. That's it. He was in a concentration camp. He's a psychologist. Okay, man's search for meaning. And one of the things he talked about, this quote, was about one of the guys at one of the camps, and how he really believed that he was going to be, he had a dream that they were going to be out by the 30th of March. And this was like, late February. And he was fine. He had all this, he was excited and everything. And then the 30th of March came, and then he caught typhus and he died because after it passed, right? I can't see Salmon again, by the way. I don't know why that is. And he died because it broke him. It broke his spirit. It broke his spirit. And that's why I'm really trying to tell you guys, you have to detach from the dates and everything. You have to do it. Because if you attach yourself to any more of these dates, you are going to find yourself broken. Okay? I want to protect you guys. Like, you're going to find yourself broken if you continue with it. At this point, I mean, we'll see. Maybe it's the spring. I've always felt it was the spring. I always felt that. But hey, the timelines change, right? No, the plan says that Biden has to be president for 3 years and then, whatever. Detach from it. But that doesn't mean that we consent to the system. Doesn't mean we consent to anything. It doesn't mean that we sort of ignore all this stuff and pretend it didn't happen. No, it's happening. Our country's being stolen. Our planet's being stolen. And we can't just, ignore that and pretend that, okay, well, who cares, right? We were wrong. No. I mean, doesn't matter. Isn't a logical thing to do self-examine? What else might we be wrong or right about? Well, I mean, if you're implying about these individuals in question, I don't think that there's any reason. I mean, that I feel completely certain about. I mean, I've done my research on these people, and I can feel their energy. I mean, they're just and look at society. Look at how society's been under them. I mean, everything that they're trying to do is violations of human agency. So I don't need to like question that stuff too heavily. They're all together. They're all here to undermine us. They lie over and over again. They invert reality. I'm not going to try to say, hey, maybe I was wrong about the cabal. No, the cabal's scum. They're scum. And the question just is, are we supposed to be under them for some reason, for some divine reason? People talk about revelations. I got some comments in the chat today about how, we're supposed to go through the tribulation and that, this whole great awakening thing and everything happening, that was, false. Like, that wasn't a false timeline. That was heresy. And hey, maybe I'm right about, maybe they're right about that. That's fine. I'm just telling you guys what I feel. I don't feel like we lost. I don't feel demoralized. I just feel like we have been, we have to just detach from all this crap. And I'm going to make a point here, and maybe you guys will like it. Maybe you won't like it. Because I don't want to, I don't, what I really don't want to do is I don't want to be the guy who's trying to rationalize what happened, because I'm with you. I think it's totally unfair. It's totally ridiculous. And if I was running this operation, I would not allow it to happen. I would not let this happen to the people. Short of some massive calamity, which I don't even, hey, maybe we'll find out about that at some point. But this whole test, maybe part of the process, the next stage we have to get into for this great awakening is really to move into 5D. We have to move into 5D. We have to move into the sense of simply knowing and feeling through things and not trying to grab onto information to try to guide ourselves, because that is the next stage of human evolution. And so perhaps this is a very critical test for us as a species to detach completely from that stuff, because we have to do it if we're going to be the people who can actually be in this future world. We have to hone those senses. But man, are they making it tough. They're making it tough. Yeah, I don't know why sometimes I can't see Salmon. It's crazy. One psychic said yesterday there would be 9 weeks of hell before it turns around March 22nd. Hey, maybe, but whatever. I just don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what these people say anymore. I'm I'm just I'm just holding the higher perspective. I'm not attaching myself. March 22nd, it's gonna happen. There's been too many of these. There's been too many, and maybe it's because the timeline shifts. And that's fair. I mean, I believe that, but that also means that if the timeline can shift that much, then there's just no point in adhering whatsoever. And all we can do is adhere to the trajectory. I don't know that Q's a bullshit psyop, but it certainly feels that way now to a lot of people. I don't know yet, guys. I don't know. I mean, I only know what my heart tells me, which is that it's not over and that they haven't won. Yeah, they just signed the Climate Accord. They're just going to do everything. They're going to do everything. They're going to unwrite all of it in the coming weeks. So do I think the military is still in charge? I don't know if they're still in charge. Hey, maybe they're trying to show everybody just how bad a Biden presidency is. This is what you wanted. Now we'll pull you back from the brink because everyone wants consent. I don't like this plan. I'm just speaking as a human being with empathy. I have empathy for you guys. I have empathy for the people who actually went out there and maybe this isn't a unity consciousness but I don't have empathy for the people who are asleep. I don't have that much empathy anymore for them because I don't feel like we should have to suffer through this. And that's why, again, I recommend people detach. Just detach from it. Let it happen. Let it blow through. Let people freak out. I'm not deleting my account because of that guy, Seth. I broke those contracts about a week and a half ago. And whatever, people are going to get pissed off at me. I don't care if they're going to get pissed off at me. Probably my account's going to get deleted anyway. I mean, if this stuff goes on, like, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't have time for that stuff anymore. And people can think what they want about me for that. I think I have more important things to do at this point. And I learned a lesson from it, which is fine. But the reality is that I am going to probably be less on social media altogether. Maybe I'll be posting stuff for my business, but my intention is to get really much more grounded with nature, to get much more grounded spiritually and physically, and obviously to continue to focus more stuff on work. I'm tired, like many of you, of listening to the bullshit. I don't care about prognostications. I looked on Twitter today, and all I saw were people. There was tons of doom posting. There was tons of complaining. There was tons of just shit that there. I mean, I don't have the ability to stomach it anymore. I just don't have the ability to stomach it. It's not my calling to listen to this stuff. It feels like old to me. It feels very much, it's just time to go deeper into the other layers. That's basically what it is. It's time to go deeper into other layers. I just lost my chat, you guys. If you guys want to say something, I'll try to get it back again. They do this to me every now and then. Take away my chat. It is hard to feel like we're not completely fucked. Pat, what is your belief on these dates, Pat? March why? Sounds like a religious angle, not based on fact. Um, my reason for it is just simply that I always felt that spring. I think that there's always an alignment with the seasons, and it felt to me that our initial transition would take a year, and so by my reckoning, we have about 2 months for that to occur. So that was always my reason. But guys, I could be wrong about this. I could be wrong about it. This stuff could go on and on. There's actually a point I want to make because all the psychics are saying the same stuff that we had been saying, that things were going to be resolved and maybe the timelines move, but that, we were moving into 5D and blah blah blah, all this stuff. And so you have to actually get even deeper. I just want to I don't say this to demoralize, because it's one of the reasons I still have faith, because I have my own sort of feeling and like that. But you have to think about something for a second and ask yourself, how deep was the control structure? Let's say Q was fake psyop, Trump betrayed us. How do you reconcile all this stuff with the psychics? So you have someone like, Magenta, who's a wonderful person. I mean, you can feel her energy, you can feel her grounded, her groundedness, her love. And so she's been interfaced with these collective, right, entities for decades, and they've been giving her information. And if they're lying to her, I mean, well, all you can do is pray, right? Because that means that their control structure is so deep. It's so deep. I mean, good luck, right? That's what I got to say. Good luck, because they can deceive you on so many levels. They covered every single base. They had psychics being fed stuff from astral entities. And I don't believe this. I'm just saying that, if that's the case, to me, it feels like we are still going to win this, that we're still going to win it. But, you know, we just we gotta start to focus on the more important stuff now. We gotta shift gears here. Sharp or Hornblower, which do you like most? Well, you know what? Actually, I love this question. This is a good question. Well, I grew up watching Hornblower, so I have to say Hornblower, but I only watched a little bit of Sharp, but I loved it. So I think I would actually like to go watch Sharp, because, and you know what? Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm going to do that. The military is not more liberal than Trump believed, but the upper brass would just be cabal, basically. And most of the military does just follow orders. Most soldiers follow orders. Where's General Flynn, though? Where are these people? There, guys. I do think that there's other stuff that's going to happen. Like, I'll keep reiterating that. I think there's more stuff that's going to happen. But we can't perceive it at this point. The whole board's gone. Q board's gone. Yeah, it was a bit of a hard decision, but you know what, Will? Part of the reason why it wasn't hard was that, people keep throwing out this bet. I mean, you guys all know this stuff already. I mean, Colty never accepted it. Colty's just like a piece of shit. I mean, basically, that's what it is. He's a piece of shit, and the demons are gloating. That's what's happening. The demons are gloating because they hijacked the timeline. They're gloating, and I learned a lesson about not, you can't play their game, right? You can't play their game. That's the lesson with the bets in general, let alone these personal ones. You can't play their game. And so I learned from that. But my sort of perspective is that if I want to get past these people, if I want to get past this consciousness, I just have to, and that's why I did it a week ago. It was just like, you know what? I just don't want to interact with these people anymore. I don't want to do these pissing contests. And it's really like the timeline bifurcation. I want the separation. I want the separation from these people. And going forward, I'm not going to interact with them. I'm not going to do that stuff anymore. So, look, I have to think bigger picture here. And the bigger picture is that, I've already put myself out there so much. Like, I have to stop caring about what other people think about me. And if people want to question my honor and integrity, that's okay. Most of the people who do this stuff don't have any integrity. And I think everybody who knows me personally knows I'm not like that. And so I kind of feel like I made a deal with criminals, you know. And so that's the way it is. I've been seeing angel numbers you've been seeing. I've been seeing double digit stuff all the time. 1111. I got off the phone with a really good friend last night. We were talking about this whole thing. We were talking about, you know what, whatever happens tomorrow, I have no regrets. I checked the clock, and it was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds. It's pretty funny. I've been getting a lot of that. 444, 333. I don't get a lot of 555, but I get all the other ones. I will continue to do coaching in Poland. Yep. Well, I think that they want us to feel like we're enslaved again, but my soul's free, guys. My soul is free. I think that you should feel the same way. Don't give them consent to do this. It's kind of like they could come to my door, they could say this stuff. It's whatever. I've already talked to my wife about this. I mean, if this stuff persists, I mean, I'm out. Like the chances of me, maybe I'll somehow slip by, but the chances of them going after me are so high that at the very least, I have to get my wife and kids out of the country. I got to get my wife and daughter out of the country to Poland. If that's where it goes, I don't think it's going to go that way. I don't feel that, but I'm free. You understand that? Do you guys understand that? Do you feel that? Do you feel that energy right now? I'm free. Okay? Yeah, feel that energy. I am free. Are you free? If you're free, say you are free here in the chat. Okay? We are free people. We are free people. We are free. And if they want to hijack, if they want to take in many of the people on this planet, and if many of the people on this planet consent to it, that's fine, but I don't consent to it. And they can't make me consent to it. They can kill me, they can do whatever to me. They can't make me consent to it. I'm free. We are free. We are free. And they don't have any power over us. They don't have any power over us. So look, well, Curtis, this is a good point, and I got asked this by Todd today, and Todd Daygame, and look, I think it's reasonable. You said you used the borderline personality disorder analogy a lot. In my experience, feeling is what kept me around for so long. I got you. I feel that. I understand that. The difference here is that I'm not like, it's not a feeling towards Trump. It's not a feeling towards any individual. It's not like this girl's going to save me or anything. I just simply feel done with these people. And I feel like enough of us feel done with these people that I don't feel from them that they have power. That's what I mean. And as far as the plan stuff, I'm not saying like the plan's right. I'm not talking about that anymore. I mean, so I don't, I understand where this comes from, but it's not, in my perspective, the correct analogy. Like, I'm not looking for anybody to save me at this point. I'm just simply stating that I do not believe that God, the higher powers that be, the collective consent, I don't believe that they have given up on this higher energetic level. I don't believe that that's occurred. I don't believe that these demons have won. I don't believe that. And I think that they're maybe going through a moment of hubris and premature victory and celebration. But I am giving up all attachment to how their demise unfolds because, if I feel called to do something, I will do it. And I'll tell you guys. And I have to say, uh, I do see some action on the future. In the near future, I do see some sort of collective action to break this. But, you know, yeah, I think we do need a strategy. And look, I'm happy. You guys can always include me in chats. If you guys have some plans, I'm happy to hear it out. But the reality is also, and I'm not saying this from a position of just fleeing, because I don't think you can flee. Everybody who says you got to find a new country to go to, that doesn't work. That buys you a little bit of time. The whole world's going to collapse if America goes. I mean, if this is a permanent situation, the whole world's done. I mean, I'm not saying that to be doom posting. I just mean that there is no sort of if we can't reverse it in America, it's not going to get reversed elsewhere, and that will spread across the planet. And so that's reality. That's reality. And in that case, like I said on Twitter a couple weeks ago, my approach then is just to allow the natural reset to occur and to focus on the fact that my soul is free and they can't take that from me. But people are gonna, I mean, if this stuff continues, people are gonna eventually they're gonna understand. But what they say about prophets, prophets always get prophets always get, the axe, right? Prophets never ends up well for them. But I'm happy. Look, Patriots want to develop strategies. I think that we're gonna start to see some stuff organically occur. It's gonna start to happen all over the place. But you know what their next strategy is. I mean, there's 400 million guns in this country, and their strategy is going to be to create some sort of false flag or justification to steal the guns, take the guns away. And they're going to pack the court so that they can justify it constitutionally. Well, the founding fathers, constitutionally speaking, believe that the Second Amendment should be removed. It's going to be one of those things. Or maybe they'll just pack Congress enough in the next couple of years to, they'll find some justification to pack Congress enough to just, remove the Second Amendment. I mean, if you can steal elections, you can do all these things. That's why I think all the stuff, people who are talking in 4D and stuff, I mean, you either need to, this is the truth. All right, guys, this is the hardcore truth. You either need to completely look to God or you need to look to direct action. I mean, that's it. And direct action is not, I'm not saying violence, but it means taking action in some way directly against the regime, refusing to consent in some way to the regime. Those are the only two options. You can't sit around and talk about future elections. You can't talk about. I mean, I'll join the Patriot Party, but I mean, it's going to be designated a terrorist organization. It's going to happen. Guys, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm fine. You got all these people, right? Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. People are gonna think what they're gonna think. Guys, at the very least, all you can say, you guys can say whatever you want about me, right? But you can at least say that uh, I stuck my neck out, right? You can at least say that. Texas seceding doesn't matter. There's no secession, guys. It doesn't make a difference. You secede, they'll just attack you. No, not. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people who voted for Trump never voted for the same reason. I mean, they kind of saw this stuff on one level or another for a very long time. Um, Guys, I do believe things are going to turn around in the spring. I don't want to put dates on this anymore, but I'm just saying that what I've always felt, which is that in the spring, this is what's like. I don't think it's gonna last. I don't think it's gonna last. I don't feel it's gonna last. I just don't know how it's gonna happen anymore. And I'm going to. I've seen the patterns, and I've seen the fact that I don't see them having a lot of stability. And maybe I've been psyoped with all this stuff. Maybe they create an elaborate scheme to convince us. Um, I don't know, but I only know what my heart feels, and my heart still feels like the best. The best is yet to come. Hey, I appreciate this. I appreciate you guys backing me up. Appreciate you guys backing me up. We're all in the boat together, you know? We're all in the boat together. But look, any other questions you guys have? You got any other questions? Any other questions, guys? I love you. I love you all. I mean, you're great. You're great. Look, we'll we're gonna boxer wine reviews. Look, we're gonna. All right, I'll ask this up. What do you think about Trump is up to right now? I don't know, guys. I don't even want to speculate anymore. You know, Trump could be licking his wounds. You know, hoping they don't kill him. Trump could be in a safe military installation while the military's planning things. You know, who knows? Who knows anymore? Well, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to start to write the book. Maybe it's time for me to write the book. But I don't think anyone's going to read it until this is all over. You know, like here's the thing. It sucks when you talk about 5D consciousness. Right now people think we're insane. They think we're insane. If you don't have any sort of heart-centeredness, you know, people are looking for you with their 4D mind and they're like, "Well, you said this you said this going to happen, it didn't happen, so you're crazy." And I understand where they're coming from. I totally get it. I totally get it. But they don't know. I mean, it's a different sense of knowing, and if you're not activated in that sense, then you don't know. Guys, I should still be in New York for another 2 months at this point, 1 to 2 more months. I will tell you guys this, all right? It sounds like you guys want me to keep doing these periscopes at the very least for a catch up. I'm going to go back to the older schedule, the one we had during the lull. If we have something big happen, you know I'm going to jump on, right? You know I'm going to jump on if we have something big happen. But reality is that if not, we're back to once a week, once every 10 days or something. There's no reason to do these things every day. We are in limbo, and who knows? Maybe this is the 10 days. But honestly, fuck that stuff. Get rid of all of it. Let's get rid of all of it. I'm between Jersey and New York until April, and then after that, I'm going to Poland, assuming I can get into the country. But all right, guys, I love you. I love you. Do I think we'll see EBS? No, I don't. No, not right now. I don't. I don't. So don't hold out. Don't hold out for that stuff anymore. Hold out. Hold out for God. Hold out for God. Hold out for the ultimate outcome here. But don't hold out for any sort of people making decisions that are going to help us. There's no more saviors anymore down here. I'll see you.